Here we are. We are live on YouTube. It does say online that it's still preparing, but it does record at this point. I did start recording, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully, hang on. All right. Hopefully this is gonna work this time because my son just left, like probably not even 5 minutes ago. And oh, stop. Yeah, he left probably maybe 5, 10 minutes ago, and everything is now, cross our fingers, instead of having one dot, I have the two. Most people probably have like four little bar thingies, and it, yeah, it's telling me I have one, but when I open that door behind me, I have. So I have to figure something out. It's a brand new Wi-Fi router. It's better than what I had before because I don't want to have the door all the way open. The dog comes in, she makes everything wiggle because she's kind of a big girl. But anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. And it's really been kind of a crazy week. I hope those of us who are here in the United States had a good Thanksgiving weekend. I didn't really make two Thanksgiving dinners. I did the big one on the day and then had more company on that Saturday, and then pretty much slept on Sunday because it was a really long weekend. So back at it, back to whatever you consider to be normal, if there is such a thing anymore. Ultimately, when I talked last time, it was about bringing up, it was that I had that vision because it wasn't a dream or anything. It's kind of like in that twilight sense, and you're thinking, I should probably get up, I'm going to go to work. And I saw that wound. It was interesting because over that week and even just prior to that, I'm thinking, there were things that I started to think about, things that, had been hurtful, and maybe I didn't process it. And there were conversations over that weekend with family that were quite volatile and not my normal like behavior. I'm pretty transparent about who I am, and with the people that have seen me online and then meet me in person say, yep, same. So there's as few masks as possible because we all wear them, right? So honestly, looking into it a little bit further, and it really seemed like that there are things that we are all dealing with, but it's being brought up because we have so many now. I am in the middle of studying some of the astral bodies, so astrology type stuff, but I'm trying to keep it as non-woo as possible, maybe trying to pull in some of the science that's involved in it. I don't really talk a lot about it, but I'm starting to try and understand it a little bit better, so I don't typically interject some of the astrology in it. But I will tell you, with all of the retrogrades going on right now, and today is 12/7, so 7th of December, if you will. It's noon here in Midwest U.S. Basically, I think I just saw an orb out over there. It was kind of like, eh. Anyway, there seems to be some a correlation between this idea that I had about this open wound and not healing. And I'm hearing other people that are very knowledgeable in astrology and do try to describe what's going on, that it feels like that's exactly what we're meant to be dealing with. The problem is we need to deal with it in a healthy way not in an unhinged way. And I felt like personally got a little unhinged on Saturday with dealing with all this stuff. So not just in the here and now, but all this history, because the wound happened in the past. It's just that it's out of our periphery, right? We know it's there and it doesn't really bother us, and it's not going to bother us till we look at it. And the wound is here, and it's until we either have it thrust in front of us, which I think is partially what's happening with the retrograde and trying to deal with all these really intense emotions. It's a matter of our trying to realize ground, which I did not do on the one day. And I'm telling you, it was rough. It was really rough. That's probably why I had to sleep so much on Sunday. And it wasn't the eggnog, just put it that way. Not a big fan of eggnog anyway, but anyway. So I guess the point is I hope everybody is able to kind of deal with what's been going on in their own little realms, in their what they're doing, and what they're having to deal with, because I think that that's part of it. So it's not just the here and now that's stressful, because you say, oh, everything's happening at once. Probably not. Your awareness is now focused on many different things, and you're finding that you are getting overwhelmed. And what can happen is now that you're overwhelmed, you can't deal with this stuff. What ends up happening is a lot of times it'll manifest in physical illness or discomfort. So let's kind of process that. Go to the doctor if you need to. Try to manage what's going on between your ears, and understanding that a lot of the things that also, if you're saying, I've dealt with all that stuff or nothing comes to mind with like old woundings that you haven't processed, is that if you're still having those types of issues, then a lot of it has to do with the earthly energy with devices, because I have not been having, it's like something is blocking this. Something is blocking. And there are ways that we can remove those blocks. And in order for you to do that, you have to ask for help, whether it's in your own mind, whether it's something etherical like angels, guides, God, whatever that you're going to draw from, or if it's someone here, or it's with yourself, centering yourself. So my example would be no internet basically for 2 months. And now hopefully I'm up to speed and I can get a couple of things accomplished, because I have some people I would like everybody to see, and we're going to have some dialogue about different things that are going on. One of the things was that Stone Hobbit and I wanted to talk about this agenda, what they're calling alien beings. And all right, so I had my camera blanked out because I'm trying to arrange things in the background. So something is still interfering with that signal. And I have a booster. So I really don't get it, why this is happening. Give me a second. I've opened the door. So if you see a mess, because I'm like right in the middle of doing a whole bunch of projects here at home. So again, I have to apologize for any of the mess. There are actually just boxes sitting behind me that are hidden by the chair. But anyway, yeah, this is just like freaky. Am I back up to 2? No, it's still 1. I opened the door. I got a brand new Wi-Fi router 2 months ago, ever since the local internet people, the other one died and they gave me another one. It's been a crap signal. I don't know really what I'm going to be able to do. I might have to call somebody in and get it hardwired. So it says that it's preparing the live stream. I know it's recording. I may just post a little something quick on YouTube and then repost this as something different. I don't know if I'm going to continue to be able to do this. Maybe the universe is telling me, Deb, you need to not do the live streams and just do the recordings. I'm going to see how that's going to work. I was going to left off before we were rudely interrupted with the whole idea of what is an alien. Let's see if you guys interfere with that again. So this is alien, which is foreign, and an extra means more or surplus. And terrestrial, that to me means land or related to the land, next to the land. So extraterrestrial means that there is nothing coming from this outer space. It's more of a different area of our planet. And a whole bunch of things are coming to mind that I don't want to discuss right here and now, because a lot of people don't want to open their minds to the possibility of our being on something other than a ball that we've been led to believe with either models in our schools that we've looked at for generations, or CGI. Those are CGI images that we have to look at. That being said, I think we're on something and in something a little bit different. And I believe that our perception is manipulated. I also have seen many things where they talk about these towers that they've put up that are supposed to be that G, right? And I believe someone is saying that it's actually we're under this, that they have nothing to do with these, that it is a lot of underground stuff, and those big towers are more like for what you'd use in your kitchen to cook with, a microwave. There are different widths of those within that spectrum. That could lead down a whole other rabbit hole, but anyway, I'm hoping that everybody is it's just kind of weird. It just says camera. And hopefully it is. Yeah, it says I'm live streaming, so it's just kind of weird. Like I said, my son was here. He said there were two. There was the dot and then the bar for the Wi-Fi signal. And I don't see that anymore. And nothing's changed. It would totally stop before, and the camera is now janky. It's like it's got like the camera's got like a weird tick. Brand new, camera. What's up with you guys, right? Come on, figure it out. Just deal with it. I also want to get something called a book called it's Black's Law. A lot of people probably already know about it, but I really want to look into that a little bit more too, just to see what that's about. So I got a lot on my plate, and I am going to go ahead and take a second. I'm gonna stop the live stream because I really don't trust it to make the switch over to the other camera. And, I just feel more comfortable with my being able to post some of the reading portions, which I'm getting a lot of intel on that as well. I hope everybody has a great week. And I am going to continue to do this as long as I'm able to continue to do it. The live stream may no longer be a live stream. I'll just rename it at that point, and we'll kind of take it from there. So really, today's was all about remembering where you are, who you are, that your thoughts and your feelings may not necessarily be yours, because they could be towered in, if you get what I mean. They could be projected upon you, and it could be a close enough resonance that you're going to associate it with something from your past or an interaction. It may pick up on a person that I'm justified in not liking that individual. You know what I mean? So everybody just try to stay centered, stay grounded. It's okay if you lose your cool, because I sure did last week. It's okay. Just gotta take a step back, rethink it, and not only be non-judgmental with yourself and others, but also learn to forgive yourself. Once you're able to do that, you'll be able to forgive others. Doesn't mean there isn't retribution, doesn't mean there isn't justice, doesn't mean there isn't balance. All different things. So anyway, everyone be blessed, stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye. So yes, it has stopped the live stream. I always have to check because for some reason some of the stuff isn't coming through as like it would say this, that, and the other. So I'm gonna take a sip. It's got ice, juice. It's all good. All right. I am so grateful for anybody who shows up to this. I am told there's a lot of fuckery going on. And I feel like there is too. I feel like there's a lot of shenanigans that we're aware of, but feel powerless to change. Because that's what I feel. So maybe we can ask, and I had a bell. I had a lovely little thing that one of my coworkers gave to me. I think her daughter was like maybe 4 when she picked it out. It's a little brass ohm bowl, and I had it in my hand before I sat down. And this is why I think that something is interfering with my ability to even find stuff in my own house. Because I had it in my hand, I was like, oh, really? I one time I did an interview with Constance Victoria Briggs, and she's awesome. She did the Galactic History of the Moon, Galactic History of the Earth. Those books are so much fun to read. I hope if you get them, they will give you more questions than you have answers, and then it launches you onto your own investigatory path, if you will. She is amazing, but anyway, um, I forgot what I was even going with that. Yeah, bunny trails for me. But yeah, I had that bowl, and I was gonna like clear the energy. It has this really nice tone to it. It's a wee tiny bowl, so I thought I'd just kind of like ding it 3 times beforehand. I do have a really nice incense stick. It's like this mega thing. It lasts for 2 hours. It's ginormous. It's made here in the States, but anyway, that kind of helps clear the energy and gets your head in the right direction. You have this, people like to call them rituals. I call them a routine. It sets your brain in that right direction of, yep, this is going to happen next because that's what happened the last time. Um, so yeah, I have no clue before I put it down. So yeah, I wanted to get myself some juice and ice and fruit, what do you call it? The juice of a few flowers. So yeah, I'm gonna switch it over to the other camera. It'll do its little twitchy thing, which drives me crazy. All right. So then I put a different picture. Now, if you like that picture, I'm gonna roll to the other side of the room here. If you like that picture, my son drew that. He does use a computer, but he uses a stylus. So what amazes me about this image that he did was the, like the halo, the circlet over her head. that was hand drawn. I mean, it's not like he took a tool and expanded it. He hand drew that. He did that with his hand and adjusted the lighting and adjusted the shading. He did that by hand. He didn't have some little, click and paste kind of thing. He's amazing. So if you're interested in learning more about what my son does for his with his artwork, he's really brilliant. Um, he did a thing of Daniel Day-Lewis that just freaking blew me away. It was like it looked like a painting because he showed it to me part of the way and he can actually make the backdrop. It looked like it was a canvas, had that canvas texture to it. It was beautiful. So let me scooch over there. This is a really awkward setup and I'm hoping to improve that. So this will help me get centered here. Put my hand on the table and hopefully the camera is just going to twitch a few more times. Yes, I have my blanket in my lap. So, again, I don't know if I have yes, I do. So let's light some sage instead so we can kind of clear that up. I am also I had looked into at one point of what the ether is. What is the ether made from? What is this thing called air? They tell us, remember, who is they? They tell us it's made up of these different chemicals, elements, oxygen, etc., etc. I'm of a mind that there's a whole lot more. I think we're breathing in the living organisms and life forces of what makes up the ether. So just asking, I know I don't verbalize a lot of stuff. I'm, somebody who keeps their mouth shut a lot, and I'm told that I need to be seen. I'm told I need to be heard. So I will try to do a better job at doing that. I'm always grateful, always grateful. Sometimes I'm grateful to tears when I drive home. It's not a sad thing, it's an overwhelming feeling that I get every now and again, but always grateful, always grateful. So I'm going to put this little guy here. I bought that a while ago. I made this pyramid. If anybody's interested in a custom pyramid, happy to oblige. If you hear the wind, and yeah, I know, I think one of the things that if you're looking at symmetry and judgment, I think we tend to judge ourselves a little too harshly. And with having all these little imperfections, like maybe a wrinkle in the tablecloth. And I had somebody one time a couple of years ago tell me that my hair was messed up, and my hair was messed up. And I wasn't expecting to be on camera, but it had like this funky splayed thing off on one side. And so when she put it in the chat, I said, I kind of went, I shook my head yes, and it was totally funny because I made it look even screwier on purpose because I kind of felt like, well, hey, if you're gonna do it big. All right, for some reason, I'm going for this. I really like this stone. It's beautiful. It's not a natural crystal. It is crystal. It's crystal glass, and it's a blue gold stone. And it's not a real crystal, but everything has a resonance and an energy to it. So I feel like it's legit in that respect. So these are the sacred geometry cards. So this is what I had pulled, the last card I had pulled in the last reading. So I am going to try to be a little more vocal. Thank you so much. all those benevolent energies, beings through across all dimensions and realms. Tell us what we not necessarily need to know, but what is most beneficial for our highest good. I am just told to not use the word human or humankind. So that, yep, I am going to have to do some research on what that word means. And I mentioned earlier that I will probably try to look into Black's Law definition of that word. Thank you so much. So grateful. So very grateful for all the help that we get day in and day out. What is it that you would like to let us know that could be for our highest good as a collective? If there are any individuals out there who need to have something that's more personal, you may take some of this, or it may mean more. It may mean more to you than it would be for others. I know people like to use the word resonant or resonance. That's not necessarily a good or accurate thing to hold to, okay? That's what I'm being told. Synergy, the frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. Okay, so the one thing that really stands out to me is the co-creation, functioning, loving, and it's not so obvious, and it's never seen before combinations. Never seen before combinations. Is that not, I know, funky frickin' camera jank? There we go. All right. And the colors do mean something. And for each individual, those colors mean something different. But the green has a tendency to mean the heart center, and that green is in the center. So that synergistic love, and it's also an abundance of it. It's very concentrated. They're also green, these little green guys on the edges. I can't really see them on the camera that I'm looking at, which is way off to my right. But this kind of feels like you might even not be aware of your actions affecting many, many others. You don't even have to have direct contact. It's your mere thought patterns are affecting others. And I shouldn't say the word mere because it trivializes it. Because thoughts are things. Thoughts don't become things. Thoughts are things. The thoughts are that spark, and it's a literal spark. That thought is a spark that allows us to co-create with others. Synergy. It's not, and it's things that will create new things are ones that are combinations that have not been put together before. Oh my God. So that takes that in a whole different direction, because there were the shenanigans where people were doing the hokey pokey. That has created a new being. Okay. They've confirmed that there's a new being with a different genetic structure. And we have never seen this before. We have never seen that before. And we who are not of that genetic structure are now, this is empowering because those beings have different talents than we do. They might be more manipulatable, that's a word, to the current. Oh, I don't even know what word to put on that. Could you help me, please? And it's the GOV with an apostrophe T. They are the ones, and it's not the ones that are politically aligned, and it's not the ones that people see in the mainstream media. There's something, I don't want to say above it, but works behind the curtain, if you will. I immediately thought of that whole Wizard of Oz thing. Remember what a dork he was? Damn, wouldn't that be awful if we actually had that where it was some jackwagon behind the curtain? So yeah, we definitely need to have some better communication. And it's with everybody. It's with freaking everybody. Communication is going to be really tough right now, only because it's such a heightened energy right now. I have had people block me and I'd be asking them, so what are you doing? How are you? And it's like, oh, they're offline or they just don't answer for like a week. And it's like, that's okay. No judgment from me because they're dealing with their own shit. And if they have a problem with me and are trying to like, I don't think there are daggers, but it feels like those like almost like a needling. All right, so I have someone gave me a cactus for because I got a new job. So I have this little cactus guy, and the little cactus guy, I went to put a thing underneath of it so it could hold the water. Otherwise, it was just going everywhere if I tried to water it. So I picked it up from its little thing and it tried to tip out and over. And I got like, I'm not kidding you, it was like right at the very tip. And my nail's long enough, I couldn't get to it. I couldn't get to it. It kept breaking off and breaking off. So I did the old trick of putting a piece of tape there to extract it, but it's kind of like one of those needles. It's there, you can feel it, not much you can do about it. You leave it till you can extract it and it'll heal on its own. But in order to do that, sometimes we need a little patience, maybe some, different kind of tactics to be able to do that. Let's see what else. Let's see, read it. The frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. Exactly. It reminds us to run every piece of information, incoming and outgoing, through the heart. Through the heart. There's a lot of green in that too. So through the heart. This is the center of truth. It reminds us to stay in the flow of the source and balanced exchange. Again, synergy, back and forth, a combination that we have not yet seen. Look at this. This is 41. This is 14. Dang. This is so much fun. I love this. All right. Oh, wow. So this is 3 and 8. All right, so this is my 11. All right. You get that image? I'm going to read it now. I don't use these very often anymore. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul in body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully and with and in this life. Wow. So remembrance is the hard part. The synergy and communication, they are working together synergistically. And what this is going to provide us with is a remembrance. It's going to provide us with a remembrance. It's going to allow us to pull things together. For sure. All right. So I think a lot of the things that we end up having with these synergies, this communication, and these are working synergistically to provide better communication back and forth, but it's bringing forward that remembrance, and that's going to be the interesting part. Everybody's remembrance is going to be different. So something that I've heard consistently, and I don't know if anybody else hears that, but there is this idea of past life remembrance. There are people that have posted a remembrance of birth and pre-birth remembrance. So I find that to be very interesting as well. Thank you. So yes, my guides, and I am bad. I will tell you this. I'm going to take a wee sip. I am bad about saying what's running through my head, and my guides, my team, I feel like are sometimes thought of as a little, I think it's a little more mainstream now, but for those who feel like that, I actually have a photograph that I took 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, of a smoky figure over my it's like a 3-season porch that's attached to the garage. I feel like I have the image, and someone told me that was my guide. Someone most recently told me my guide is very tall. And that fits with what I had seen. So sometimes the terminology in our communication can make us feel uncomfortable and it holds us back from speaking and speaking the truth. And we don't realize that remembering certain things that make us uncomfortable can sometimes cause us to falter. So we need to remember the synergistic communication that will help us have this memory returning. Here's the dog. So if the table jiggles, it's probably from her. No, she's really good. She's a Bernese mountain dog, one of the 4 Swiss tricolor breeds. You hear her grunt or snore in the background. Oh, just had to make you aware. She's my girl. She was gifted to me. All right. Thank you so much. I am so eternally grateful for any kind of guidance and support that I can glean from what is in this ether, in this air that I breathe, these things that I cannot see. I should do another little video of the things that I am taking photographs of, and maybe do like a little video on that, because I've done one, and I would like to maybe do a reading for myself as to who these guys are, because they take different shapes and colors now. Some of them are different shapes. They're basically like a light stick. I talked to Stone Hobbit about it. I showed her some images, and she said that a lot of the orbs and other energetic beings, some of the orbs are very basic. They are used as transport vehicles by more, I don't want to say advanced, but with a different kind of resonance, different tasks, different curiosities. And we have to remember that that we are curious possibly about what's out there, but they're also curious about what we are as a being. Okay. So this, even though these other two cards came out, the Page of Cups flipped up. So I feel like that this is the more important of the four. In the traditional Rider-Waite, the Page of Cups is, from memory, he's got it, but he's kind of like young, the word impetuous, uncontrolled emotions, very passionate, very worldly. And even though he's not that fiery energy, there's so much passion there. All right, I don't know if I have anything for this. I don't think I do. I don't, oh, I take that back. This is a beautiful deck. This is Golden Dream. These are Golden Dream Tarot. So I'll have you take a real quick look again. Page of Cups. Okay. I'm gonna put him, I'm gonna move these guys over. For some reason, he needs to go over there. So let's see if I can find him in here. Swords, Cups. So he is creative. He's very intuitive and he's very curious. So this is what I feel like is unbridled curiosity and full of possibility, new ideas, opportunities, things that come right out of the blue, right? And maybe that's like what he's got swirling around him. You see that? So this is all part of this communication thing and working synergistically, not just with other people, but also within ourselves. And spend time exploring those ideas if you want to move forward. So this Page of Cups wants us to have an open and curious mind because he is very curious, and I personally am very curious. It's also going to possibly be important to synergistically work with people if we are not curious enough to work with those who are, who raise the questions. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like that questioning energy. They don't like the people to question what's going on. This presents like a very pleasant, like a pleasant being pleasantly surprised. One of the things that, I hope this isn't too divergent. One of the things that I know that I have had the privilege of being involved with was Augie Nost, and with the Watchers Talk and reading Augie's book about being more open-minded and about exploring what consciousness is. That kind of says to me that we need to be able to, that really, though, that experience and working with Augie and reading his book a few times helped me open my mind to greater possibilities and to working with people I don't think I would have worked with before. And one of the things that Augie says is that dream your biggest dream, write it down, take a step back, and basically, I'm paraphrasing now, take a step back and look at it and realize you didn't dream big enough. Dream bigger, go beyond what you have originally had set. Go beyond what has never been done before. Go beyond. Doesn't mean there is don't attach to an outcome. Don't hinder yourself with expectations. Dream the dream, love it, appreciate it, and let it go. Explore the magic of the cup that is asking you to embrace your inner child and believe anything is possible. Oh, synergistic communication, passion, love, new ideas, remembering what was there. So he's going to now go over here with that. That was kind of fun. These guys were next. Oh my gosh. So usually aces are new beginnings. These swords traditionally are thoughts and words, right? And isn't that all about it? Isn't that all about this remembrance, this whole idea of, you know, pulling together with others, but also within ourselves? So, what this can sometimes present are difficult situations, difficult decisions. But what those difficult decisions might mean are, oh, double-edged sword, right? This is such a cool card. There are going to be some options. And I feel like this is not just for you guys, it's for me as well. Being offered options that can lead to potentially many positive outcomes. They're not easy, they're challenging. If there's a lack of clarity, remember the synergy, communication can lead to the remembrance, connecting to your passion for those new ideas. This should provide, hopefully, clarity to be able to make this decision. Move on. Thank you. I freaking love this. Couple of things came up. I'm going to look at it for a second. So this has actually got blue and red, or very pale blue and like pinks. That's like yin and yang, male and female, masculine and feminine, because male and female kind of relate to a more physical gender aspect. But that 5 of Cups, that kind of says to me to not look at your regrets, do not look at your failures, do not look at disappointments, do not be pessimistic. This is a do not card. This is a do not. Do not get out of your freaking head. Oh my word. If there's anything that I'm going to admit to you, full frontal confession, is I tend to be over analytic, self-deprecation, feelings of inadequacy. Just basically, you don't feel good enough. All right. And that's not the truth. This is truth. Difficult decisions. This individual looks like they have a lot of things in their head, on their head, around their head. Look at that big frickin' thing at its heart. Right? I know that these cards are kind of cool because in certain aspects of the image, it evokes a more feminine. And then also, if you look at the face, it has a masculine qualities. It's a brilliant card. It's a brilliant card because it evokes both that feminine and masculine. Look at the hands. A blue hand and a pink hand. All right. So this has not got anything to do with men or women, has everything to do with action and stifling that creative aspect, the emotional aspect. Don't Don't do that. Just stop. I wish I had somebody to tell me that, because that's what I'm telling myself right now. Don't overthink things. Do things with passion. Do things knowing that you have the abilities and the skills already within you, and just do it. And if you make mistakes, if you fail, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward. Right? I used to work with a guy who used to say, damn Skippy. And I have to say to what I just said, damn Skippy. Right? Major Arcana. Again, we're right back to the feminine and the masculine, and being overseen by that tree of life, higher self. So this is the Lovers. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely freaking love this deck. I'm going to start between that and this other one that I'm told that I need to draw from. Which one is this? I don't know. So again, the Lovers in the traditional Rider-Waite, they have the what do you call it? They have almost like, it's usually like a lion's head with the wings on either side, and it's kind of like that's meant to be your higher self, God, the angels, however you have your familiarities and familiars with you in this experience. This is when you because this I don't think is ever going to go away. It's always going to be there. Are we questioning ourselves? Just don't make it a major, don't give it the full Monty, okay? So the Lovers, upright love, harmony, relationships, valuing alignment, and making choices, making good choices. Gosh, that's such a cool card. Love it. Yeah, so I'm going to just take a second here. This was actually part of something I had ordered online, and it was just totally cool because it's a piece of selenite, but it has color to it. And it has blended in with so many of the beautiful readings that I've been able to do. And I'm going to leave that right there. I am going to look for it because this is kind of a different sort of a deck. I'm going to put that off to the side. I am getting a little parched. I am partial to silver. So I don't know if you can kind of see that there's a lot of reflective silver in this. Silver color doesn't mean it's real silver because it would probably be over the freaking moon. I'd absolutely love to have a deck with real silver. I think the frequency that it would give off, pardon me, it would be absolutely amazing. I have to mention, go buy a couple of pounds of oranges. And if you don't have something to squeeze the juice out of those oranges, get one and make your own orange juice because there's nothing like it. I'm not talking about fresh squeezed or buying it where it's in the container. My mom had, sorry, this is a little off the track here for a minute, but somebody needs to hear this. That when you harvest the orange and you open the orange and you squeeze the orange and you extract that orange's juice, you put it in a container. The second you pluck that fruit, it diminishes. The second that you squeeze the juice, it diminishes in quality and vibrancy. So the best, unless you have an orange tree sitting in your backyard, I used to live in a place where we could get fresh oranges and fresh grapefruit, fresh lemon, fresh lime. We would go to the family member's household. We would be allowed to take what was needed or what we would use, Oh my gosh, there was nothing like it. And again, we need to make sure that when we have these remembrances, that we are truly, truly grateful. And I hear the word fellowship. So even though we don't have those relationships anymore, we should still appreciate them and express our gratitude. Gratitude is part of that synergy. That's what's gonna open up the communication. What that will do is open up the remembrance. And again, tapping into our love, our passion, our cooperation with ourselves and with others, making the difficult decisions with clarity without being too much in our head. This is what's going to make us all enjoy a better life. I hope this is gonna help somebody because I'm gonna be honest with you, I would love to get more feedback. I cannot get enough feedback. I love it. I have a day job. I love it when my staff come in and they give me feedback and they tell me how their day went outside of, because we, at the end of each day, the staff come together and I say, okay, what's the good, the bad, and the ugly? And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And you can kind of pick and see who wants to feed the ego and who wants to actually get something off their chest and who wants to be there for the individuals that they're helping. So my staff work directly with developmentally delayed and those individuals with developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, and I have so much heart and love and care for them that I could not directly express. They need to concentrate on who they are, on their lives outside of what they do. This is something that is, I don't know why I'm even sharing that, but it's what I do for a living at this point. I would love to be able to help more people that want to help people because I feel like that's more expansive. I can help one individual at a time with the coaching. I can help with the regressions and etc. But it's better to help those who are able to help others in a more boots on the ground. That if that makes sense. They have a boots on the ground kind of a job. And that's why I asked for the job that I did. Granted, I was in a position that was not particularly pleasant, and I apologize if I'm talking about myself a little bit much. I have to be cryptic. Technically, I'm a government employee, so we're gonna just leave that at that. And I really appreciate the agency that I work for. Nobody's perfect, man. I'm just saying, nobody's perfect. I don't know if my coworkers, my former coworkers, because I recently, like I said, took a different job. I don't know if they watch me or not. I don't think they do. I think they're all kind of like doing off their own thing. If they are, great. I love you. I miss you guys. Um, Holy crap. Check that out. Because they're part of my community. They are part of all of us. They are synergistic, communication and remembering. So this is what we're in. I don't know why. This is like the foundation, right? This is the foundation of all of this. Sorry, I took a piece of ice and I love ice. And I might crunch on it for a minute. I'm just going to have to deal with it. This is card number 4. 4, 4, 4. You can see that. I'm glad the camera settled down. I hope you guys appreciate that. Because, for this little girl, she's just like kind of, what the heck? Community, look at that. Again, please do not assign this idea of gender, okay? Because it means something different when we're talking about a spiritual aspect. Because if we effing, freaking, ficking deny this aspect of who we are, feminine and masculine, because they mean something different. And maybe it's because people have become so out of touch with, I don't know, I guess the best way for someone to maybe research it or to look into it is the Gnostics. And it's not, I don't know, it's something ancient, but it's also been put into contemporary wording. I think it's that book, The Initiates. I have it here somewhere. I got it in a really nice, I love books. I mean, sorry, I'm going to share this too. This reading's going on really. So this is a handmade book. It's real paper pulp. It's raw edged and it's Celtic because that's my heritage that I'm aware of. What it is outside of that, I'm not really 100% sure, but I really like this. And this spoke to me. So I guess my point is reach out for what speaks to you, but never, ever, ever forget the foundation of what you are outside of this realm. This realm provides you with as best as possible of the unity that we have outside of this place. Because there's unity of this divine masculine and there is unity in the divine feminine between them. There has to be union. And see what I just said? Think about that. There is now division and derision of femininity. There is now division and derision in masculinity and what those things mean. And that has to stop. There needs to be a synergy. There needs to be communication. We need to frickin' leave out the ego on this. Once we have the synergy, communication, and the remembrance, this is what happens. This is not something that is sexual. This is something that is within ourselves. This is a whole. WHOLE. This is a whole, complete picture. This is a love of self. While we're in this place, this is what we see. Within ourself, there is a division within ourself. And here we are. We call higher self. I don't even like that term anymore because it is us. This is us. This is us. This is us. Combine it. That is us. And it's also about not losing touch with nature, with the unborn, with the grown and the ungrown, the animal and the plant, the air. Wow, it's every freaking thing. It's with the elements of nature, with the ether. See the lightning? That's the ether. My head keeps going back to someone that's very personal that I don't think I should share at this point. I'm not comfortable. All right, maybe I will. Look at, speak up. Speak up, woman. Right? Speak up. She had a phone. I'm trying to see. There's like some microphone or something. There's a microphone in front of the dude and he's got like chemicals and all right, so I'm gonna give you a second for looking at that because that's very complicated. Oh my gosh, I do not feel at liberty to say who it is that I'm thinking of. It is someone that I do still care about and that I'm hoping is doing well with their family. 12. That's an awesome number, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Some people, all right. So here's what came to mind. The individual that I'm thinking of can take any sign, any symbol, any shape, because there's a shape within that. There's a shape within that. There are indicators in each one of these, the wings, the star, the sword. Right. So there are many aspects of these things that that individual could take and demonize, not within themselves, but say, this is evil because this is what this group has portrayed this to be. And it's kind of interesting that they come up in this, and that I do not speak up against the individual because I care for them. Even though they did me great wrong, I do not speak against them. I offer them blessing. And this is something that we all need to do. If we feel that there is no legal standing, we need to kind of keep ourselves in check. We still need to speak up, speak our truth. We need to stand up for ourselves and others, making those difficult decisions. We cannot sweep things under the rug anymore. We cannot be silent. We cannot be afraid to advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. So this is going to require us, and man, that this card here says, double edged. So we can also get caught. And it doesn't mean we're going to get hurt. It means that maybe emotionally we could get hurt. It's not something physical. If we are, we need to kind of rethink this stuff, right? But this should not lessen our boldness. We are going to rub people the wrong way. We are. This is about making difficult decisions. But a lot of times we get too much in our head. We got to stop that. Because it's okay. It's okay to rub people the wrong freaking way. As long as we speak in love, we keep open communication, remembering who we are. And even though we might not necessarily see it immediately, we understand that there's a synergy. Excuse me, we need to advocate boldness and responsibility. Boldness and responsibility. Dang, I think this is the longest I've gone in a while. I'm able to record, so hey, what the heck, right? Oh, we need to drop the masks, baby. I'm very transparent, as much as I possibly can. I will tell people what I think. However, it's not done in meanness. It's not done from an egoic standpoint. It's done from the standpoint of a balanced love and true desire, with hope that those individuals can make it through. All right, so this is a card number 7. I was born in July, so I'm not gonna shadow that. And again, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Get out of your frickin' head. Don't be afraid. Frickin' speak up, right? So here she is. So yeah, feminine. And I'm going to say she, okay? It's got nothing to do whether your balls are inside your body or out, right? And suck it up, Buttercup. If you got offended by that, you can go somewhere else. Be careful you're not using somebody else's persona as an excuse to live your life in an inauthentic manner, right? Do not disconnect yourself from others or your loved ones. So, and it's very easy to do that. When I mentioned that I had kind of a blowout during the holiday season, and I had to be very careful how I responded in the heat of the moment or shortly thereafter, because I have a genuine physically important genetic relationship to the individuals. And it's important for me to stay connected to them. Didn't want to do it. I would say freaky deaky, sever that frickin', sever it, sever the cord. But you don't want to do that because it's all part of that uncomfortable. We sometimes have to get uncomfortable to make the good things happen, right? Don't take it personally. And I think that's a big part of it. Use it as a reason to pay attention to where you might be using you. You might be using the mask. We might be using the mask. I might be using a mask. I hope not. I hope I don't. I hope I don't have a mask. I'm very transparent. I make the effort in being so. All right. Don't mind the wrinkles. I really like this little thingy dingy I got. Oh my gosh. Metamorphosis from the heart. Oh, this is oneness. This is oneness. All right. And you know what? People don't like death. And I think the reason that people associate bad with death is especially in Western societies, is that we think it's the end, and it's not. It's the change. It's a metamorphosis. It's bittersweet. It's a rebirth or the potential of rebirth, depending on your belief system. Excuse me. But it is transformation. And one of the things that we need to consider is letting go of the old you. It's this. It's this. It's going to not be the best, most comfortable thing to do. That's why it's bittersweet when we're leaving in a situation that we thought brought us, joy. But those things need to be burned in order to regenerate ourselves. And it's up to us to consider what it is that we mean by burned. Because if we tap into this is unification. This is reconnecting with ourself. This is reconnecting with the higher self or the true self. I like that much better. Because people in this realm think that higher is better. No. And higher is over us. No. I am a supervisor. I am not over my staff. I am responsible for providing my staff the tools in which they need to do their job. If they have those tools and are not using them properly, if they claim not to use them properly, or they are saying they're using them properly and are not, I'm going to hold them. I have the power to be able to do that, to hold them accountable. And that is what the self, the true self, should do. Holding this division that we have within this realm accountable. Not always comfortable. So one of the ways that we can do that is we can clear away old paradigms and we can make way for more. And I like the word. I don't like the word ascension, but I do like the word expansion. So we can have expansive growth. And it goes beyond that what we can imagine. It should be bliss. There is that word joy, but I think this offers bliss. This is the last card. So temperance. Oh my gosh, it's balance. 5. 5 is in the middle. So we have 1 through 9. 5 is in the middle. Temperance, 4 and 1. That is the middle. Right? That's in the middle. So this is all about our life, and I'm now going to probably move on to something called money. So this is a reminder of the middle ground. Avoid jumping into extremes and making assumptions. Again, synergy. Communication is going to be a big part of it. With the communication, we can possibly have some remembrance of what we need to kind of tap into. And also remembering that all things are possible. All things are possible. As long as we are able to continue that forward momentum that offers the stability that we need. Slow and steady wins the race. Right? Slow and steady wins that race. So I know a lot of people are concerned about the financial situation. So having all of this, keeping things balanced, keeping things in a way that we can understand them. Balance within ourselves seems to be a big part of what we're trying to deal with right now. Right? So I am always very grateful of what I am able to be offering to you through this. I really, truly, honestly believe, even though I do get you always get those junk emails, the junk stuff about, hey, I can market your blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, take a leaf. You want to actually get a better life and right. So who knows? It's probably AI. AI is off the hook right now. Right. I am so grateful always to all those energies, individuals. Actually, oh my God. It's like, all right. Hey, Deb, you want to hurry? Okay. Woo. All right. So the Palo Santo calls. So I have to take a little snippy do. They say that the Palo Santo is a pine or a variety of pine. And I kind of wonder about the synergy of what we are and what we embody. And golly gosh, that does really smell good. So we're changing our focus from the embodiment of how we can better ourselves and remain stable and continue to be expansive and make a positive impact for the beings that we have here. And this is a synergistic existence here. This is not just about the organic, but it's also about the inorganic. So the first thing that came up is wisdom. Imagination rules the world. Whatever you create becomes who you are. So make wise choices. And this is again all about the synergy, communication, and then making the decision, sometimes difficult, when we remember, when we have that remembrance, right? I don't know if you can hear my howling window, but it's howling pretty good, right? Yeah, choose wisely. Choose wisely. Connect to your greater self, your true self. So there is going to be someone important that will offer you support. It may not be who you think, but be open to possibility. So be open to the possibilities that we have available to us. Don't overthink things. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, when we keep these open communication lines, we have the synergistic existence, right? And it's about community. It's about community support and working synergistically. And we can overcome obstacles. We were going to have wealth. We might have an owner or a boss to take charge and help us make progress. So again, it may or may not be us. Synergy comes to forefront with this. So this is about the synergy, community, and support that we can gain through these. Don't overthink it. A hunch is creativity trying to tell you something. Follow your gut instincts and act on them. Sometimes those are going to be difficult decisions, but again, don't overthink it. Get out of your head, right? Get out of your head. Get out of your head. I don't look like that, but I feel like that's me. So when we do all of this, so I feel like this really truly is the trifecta. Oh, there's three stars. When we do all of these things, when we are able to accomplish all of these things, we will have financial relief. We will be content. We will play a supportive role, and we will continue our growth. This is the embodiment of a good transformation. This is transformation. 3 and 7 is 10. That's 1. We are the one. We are part of this unified field. We are the one. I am so blessed to be here. I am so grateful for everyone. Many blessings to all. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Whatever you can do, you can do. Reach out if you need help. If I'm not able to offer you that help, I will find someone who can. Again, many blessings to all.